So today marks the month anniversary of when Steve Scalise was targeted amidst a shooting at a congressional baseball game. And he was a person I never really paid attention to before that happened. And someone that TYT, fortunately enough, did pay attention to prior to this event, which included alleged comments he made in regards to being a new David Duke, and some type of affiliations with white supremacy groups. But what's interesting to me is that for all of their reporting and seeming knowledge of this stuff, they actually, to their credit, seem to value his life. They said, this is terrible. We shouldn't use weapons or firearms in the pursuit of getting what we want of the electoral process. They spoke in ways that I found very commendable. But I go on this other website where ignorance knows no bounds, and a person starts linking back this article and talking about he deserved what he got, and another person says, I hope he dies, and these various comments being made. And their argument will be that what he said was terrible if he said it, and it was. But the problem is, a lot of the people I've seen who make these type of comments call themselves believers in God, and I'm also a person who would classify themselves as believing in God. I think the only difference is I'm not as outward with it. But the problem is that I follow the golden rule in that I would not want someone to wish for my demise, so I do not wish for the demise of others. Because no one is particularly favored by everybody. In fact, the closest you have to being favored by everybody is not being known by anyone. And that's something they don't seem to realize. When you're a public figure, your actions get scrutinized, things are made a bigger deal of, and it's just easier to dissect you than it would be someone who, for example, is not well known or is not famous. But let's really ask ourselves, if the things that he is alleged to have said are true, did it really mean that he deserved being attacked in that manner? Imagine if a conservative person decided to fire upon a liberal for their stances on, I don't know, the death penalty. Something to the effect of, well, you don't think criminals should die, then you should die. That kind of nonsense. Would that mean that, this person is justified in going after that liberal who believes and preaches against the death penalty? You have to understand, a lot of these shooting events, a lot of these attacks on individuals who are politically inclined are the result of conflicting ideologies, but also a manner in which you cannot identify with the other person and see them as whole. And I spoke to some others about this, where the reason you have people so easily to just attack another person is because in that moment they just see them as the enemy or as this singular individual, not as someone's father or brother or child. There are various roles we all fulfill in some capacity, whether we want to cherish them or ignore them. And ignoring has been the crux of any shooting that didn't have hesitation, and that you just decide that that person is not worth existing anymore. And that's scary. That, well, not so much that we have people who choose to, because we've had that for eons, but it's the idea that people are acutely aware of this. They wouldn't want it to happen to themselves, but then they're happy when it happens to someone else, and then have the nerve and the audacity to say, I am someone who believes in God. What type of God would advocate, yes, this race group deserves to fade away, this person deserves to pass away in such a manner, prematurely, struck down. This person deserves to just fade away from existence because I don't agree with some things they said or did. And the things he did, I'm sorry, but we can pretend and claim let's pretend that's confirmed. Did he lynch anybody? Did he hang anybody? Did he tie someone around a rope? Did he kill anyone? No. He only served in office, almost got killed. Look, I'm not justifying his stances on issues. I don't agree with him on anything. That's someone that, was never a person I found particularly favorable of. But the cold hard fact is, you have to look at someone's life in full and determine that it's not worth violence. It just isn't. Because a lot of these same people would have been crying and weeping if something had happened to, say, Obama or Hillary. But because it's a Republican and suddenly it doesn't matter, or it's good because you think they're racist. Anyone who has any type of racial bias deserves to be blown away in a hail of gunfire. Again, this comes from not being able to comprehend the idea that there is more to a person than whatever disagreement you have with them. That is why a good portion of these shootings continue to happen and will continue to happen. And I know someone will say, "Oh, you're being unrealistic." Well, maybe so, but I'm also, I think, being truthful. So thank you for watching. Have a good day and stay safe.